Hi, this is Stacy at the Bonneville Shop. Today we're going to be removing the sludge trap from our crankshaft that we had to drill the plug out of. Now, just in case your Triumph service manual spoke trick didn't work, you might want to try this instead. First thing we're going to have to do is pull this bolt out of here. This is actually holding the sludge tube in. We have some motion. This is the only bolt I recommend you messing around with on these. There are other bolts here, but these are actually counterweights. I wouldn't mess with them unless you really know what you're doing and you have some kind of static balancing act. You have some kind of computer doing it. Now, as you can see, this hole right here, that divot, this divot is actually lodged into that sludge shaft inside of here. That's what hold it on to begin with. Now, according to Triumph, I should be able to take a spoke. I'm not even going to go through that. But in the service manual, it tells you to take a spoke, stick it in here, and pull it out.
Has that ever worked?
Not for me.
Okay.
What I do is I take a 5/8 coarse thread cap, take a large nut with it, run it through it as hard as you can, starting from here, going across to here. You shouldn't need any thread cutting fluid, but it might be a little bit rough just to get the finish off the inside of it. You're going to put it in here and you're going to start cutting into this, which is inside of this thing. It doesn't take a lot of cutting and it doesn't have to be precision because you're not trying to save this thing or cut threads into it that are going to be useful. When we're done, it's going to be a thrashed out sludge trap and we're going to put a new one into it. This is really kind of a thing of feel. I can't really show you. You'll feel it jump a couple times. But what it's doing is it's actually cutting threads into it. Back up a little bit as you go. This releases the metal from being trapped inside of the cutters. Feel like you have a few threads in. Go ahead and run this up. And hopefully, as we run it down, it should give it a pull on the sludge trap. Remember, it's only been in there more than 50 years, so odds are your spoke jerk isn't going to work. You end up doing this too. Hey Ashley, I need some help.
Are you not strong enough?
No.
All right. So this is a wrench.
Yes.
Crescent. No, I'm telling you, this is a wrench.
Yes.
And you use this to make it bigger and smaller.
Yes.
Yes. Have you done this with? Tell me about your experience with motorcycles, Stacy.
Well, other than working on a crankshaft that's been out of the motor for almost 25 years, I have several times actually had this trap come out only with the bolt coming off.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I actually don't think I do. Let me just... Oh!
There it
You just have to use a little muscle.
Yes, absolutely. And look at the corrosion on that thing.
Tell me more about that.
Well, what I do want to tell you is take a look at this. Get a look at that. How much oil pressure do you think is going to be there? I'd say about 0. That sludge trap is so plugged up, it's like solid concrete. This is why we take these things out. If you don't, the drive side of this journal is going to just catch up and get lit and it's going to destroy it. So what you need to do is make sure you pull these out and put that in. See the difference? Oil pressure, very important. This is what this one looks like. This might be the worst one I have ever seen. And I've done about 18 Triumphs with my latest one. 18 twin Triumphs. This is the worst. This engine was destined to explode. It's a good thing we went ahead and pulled that off. Because if we would have wasted our time and part money just putting this whole thing together for no good reason. Now for this trick, all you have to do is exactly what we did. It's a little bit of a struggle when it's kind of old and it's been there a while. But use a 5/8 coarse thread, tap with a matching bolt to it. I go with coarse because it gives a little bit of a grab. If you go with fine, it tends to peel out layer after layer after layer, and it doesn't want to pull it out at all. So this is our update for why we took that cap off. What happened here was this engine was sitting with oil in it, probably for 10 years, 15 years, and this builds up so bad that it destroys the motor. And people don't realize it, and they don't want to split the cases. And I can understand not wanting to do that. But if you're going to put that much money in parts into a bike, you really need to do this so that you don't end up exploding a motor, at least half the motor anyway, and possibly destroying a crank that you can't replace. We cannot find these crankshafts. I don't think anybody realizes when they park their bike, okay, this is the last time I'm going to ride it for a while. They park their bike and something happens, life happens, and then they end up leaving it there. It gets sold at a yard sale or auction or something like that, and the person who buys it ends up having to do this. Very important to do. That's the worst. It's the worst I've ever seen. I've seen about half full, but I've never seen one completely plugged up. And I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't look at the cylinders. Maybe there's a reason this bike was given to us.
Yeah.
Maybe the left side already did burn up. To be continued.